It's amazing. If you focused on one topic, we could be here for days.
I know.
With all the drama that's coming out of our beloved leadership in D.C. right now. But since I was in here 2 weeks ago, we spoke that day about Obama's connection to Kenya and the terrorist attacks that had just happened there.
Right.
Okay. And we also made the connection there, the funding and that running through Saudi Arabia and the possibility of the Saudis being behind much of the turmoil in the Middle East.
Right. And some of those stories made it into major media headlines.
Yes, they did. And since then, we've seen credible reports, saying that the Saudis actually orchestrated and were behind the chemical attacks in Syria.
Yeah.
Since we talked about it that day. So it seems that just more and more that's being verified.
Right.
That's number one. The day that we were on the air last, it popped up on Drudge, and we didn't get to talk about it. We see two-time Pulitzer Prize winner Seymour Hersh, also known as Cy Hersh, come out and say that the entire bin Laden raid was a fake. It was a fraud.
I remember that. That was happening as we were going off the air.
As we were going off the air, that hit Drudge. Now, since then, there's another gentleman and I've followed this guy for about a year. I don't agree with everything he says, but I think he has some great insights into stuff. Dr. Steve Pachinik. Been involved in politics, deep into black ops and CIA for, 30 years or so. Literally has been responsible for the overthrowing of governments in his time. I mean, this guy, he's deep.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. He said the same thing. This guy, you can research Dr. Steve Pachinik, said 10 years ago in a live interview that bin Laden actually died in 2002 of medical conditions, but that the next administration, that would be the administration after George Bush, would set up a fake killing of bin Laden to further their agenda. And then that was 10 years ago he says that. Then we see Cy Hersh come out 2 weeks ago and say the entire bin Laden raid is a fake.
Right. Well, has there been any, and I read those reports and I remember, and I was so wishing that you had been here to research it, but have there been any updates on that? Is anybody following that up?
You can find some stuff on the internet from some credible sources, that have dug deeper into it. And, people have speculated on this for quite a while.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of reasons that we should.
Right.
We see one of our helicopters get blown up over there in this raid. We have the neighbors of this compound where bin Laden was supposedly assassinated saying, we've never seen the guy here. Right. He's never been here.
Right.
We don't know what y'all are talking about. Right. Our most open administration in history won't release any of the photos of his supposed burial at sea of the body.
I was going to say they killed him, and the first thing they did is run out to sea on a ship and dump him overboard.
And dump him over, exactly.
Yeah.
Then we see
Now the question is, who did they dump overboard?
Exactly, who did they? What body double?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Then we see 26 members of SEAL Team 6 blow up in a mysterious, just accidental rocket hits their 1970s helicopter that they never should have been on. So there's plenty of reason to speculate about that. But moving on, then we see this bizarre story of this woman who we're originally told tries to ram her car literally into the White House.
I'm glad you're going here because this is freaking me out. Go ahead.
This is literally what we're first told is that someone, it doesn't say a woman, someone has tried to ram their car into the White House and has fired shots at the Capitol.
I heard that live. So what you're saying is exactly how the news was reporting it. Yep.
That's the first stories and we see this time and time again that they come out with these crazy reports and it never turns out to be true.
Right.
So here's what we find out after everything unfolds. There were, in fact, military martial law style checkpoints set up in and around D.C. that day.
Right.
With armed Capitol Police and Marines.
And what was the purpose of those? Do we know?
Drills. Amazing, isn't it? Why does something always happen on a drill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time there's a drill, somebody
dies.
That's
exactly right. So we're having these drills for these Viper-style checkpoints.
Right.
This mentally disturbed woman, that seems to be true, that she did have some mental problem.
Yes.
Now just think about this. She pulls up to this drill and gets a little freaked out. A bunch of guys in black Nazi-style uniforms with machine guns, on their shoulders.
AR-15
so what does she do? She doesn't ram the barricade. She tries to back out and get away. They all storm her car, screaming at her, no telling what, guns drawn. Then she freaks out.
Right, and she's already mentally disturbed anyway.
Then she freaks out and takes off, and citizen journalist video has popped up showing that it was not her ramming barricades in D.C.
Right.
It's the police driving down straight roads 80 miles an hour, running their cars into concrete barriers like they don't exist.
Right.
Is what happened in D.C. And then we see this woman literally executed by these same police. I mean, look, let her get away and go get her later.
Right.
Use your maneuvers that you're taught in the police academy, right?
Right.
These are highly trained people where you take two cars, bump the car, spin her, shoot her tires out. They execute this woman in front of her 18-month-old child.
Right.
Then we see our Congress and our president
Proclaim that they're heroes.
have an almost occultic, satanic style celebration because we've just executed this woman.
I know.
And our fearless leaders that we send to D.C., where are they while this is going on?
Hiding
Hiding under their desks.
Literally calling, because one reporter, I heard one Fox News reporter live as it was all happening. He was reporting on it, and the anchorman back in the studio said, "Well, are you okay? What's going on?" And he said, "Yes, I'm okay." He said, "Now I've had several congressmen run out into the hall and grab me and say, 'Come on in here with us. You can be safe with us.' And I've told them, 'No, I'm covering the story.' And they said, 'Well, we're hiding in this safe room.'"
Yeah.
I mean, he literally said that. I remember thinking then, what a bunch of weasels. What a bunch of wimps.
This is who is representing us, the American people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Hiding under their desks like a bunch of school children in a
Schoolgirls.
tornado drill.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Tuck and roll.
Not because someone was assaulting the Capitol,
Right.
but because the Capitol Police were in the process of executing a woman.
a mentally disturbed
challenged
woman
woman.
with an 18-month-old baby. They were executing her, and so that terrified the congressman. So we got to hide under our desks, and let's get this news reporter and have him come in with us.
Right, and then we have this celebration. We give them medals. We literally give them a standing ovation.
Yeah, when they come in.
These wonderful police
Yes,
officers.
these warriors.
These warriors that have come in from this execution. It's unbelievable. So, and then we move from there into the government shutdown.
Right.
Supposed government shutdown.
Right.
Of course, we find out now that 83% of the government is up and running.
Right.
Right.
The only part
I'm pretty sure that Congress's checks are still cashing.
I'm pretty sure.
The Senate's checks are still cashing. We know that the president's checks are still cashing. So who's suffering here?
Well, who's suffering is when we shut down the parks and the World War II memorials, and we take the knobs off the water fountains on the hiking trail so nobody can get drinks of water.
That's exactly right. And then we see
What a
we see our
vindictive
World War II
sociopath.
vets being locked. And let me just say this: you and I were watching live the news the day that the World War II memorial was first closed. Okay.
Yeah. I
And we
remember.
saw several Congress people. And look, let's give them credit. They went out there. They stood by the vets.
Right.
They helped them get through
That's
the
right, they
barricades
did.
and let them in.
Remember.
You and I had the conversation that day. We both said, let's see what happens tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the next
Let's
day.
see what happens when the armed guards show. Where are you now, Michelle Bachmann?
Right.
Where are you now?
That she wasn't there.
Where are you for our vets now?
Right.
Where are you, Ted Cruz, who
Right.
stood up and championed all of this in the Senate like a hero hailed as a hero with your presidential aspirations, even though you shouldn't even be allowed to run?
Photo ops.
Where are you now? Are you out there when the armed guards show up?
Are you out there every day
Where,
helping them? Yeah.
Where is our Tea Party darling, Marco Rubio?
Yeah.
This guy, you
Yeah.
couldn't
Well,
find
he's
this
a
guy.
Trojan
You couldn't
horse.
find
No.
this guy in headlines if you
No.
wanted to.
He's
right
still
now.
hiding under his desk. He still thinks the shooting's going on.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable to see these people. They take one stand, and they think that they've done this great thing for the country, and they get all this media attention. But then when the real battle comes the next day or the next week or
Right.
11 days into the shutdown,
Right. Nowhere to
where are you now?
Nowhere to be
I tell you
found.
where John Boehner is.
Right.
He's cutting a backroom deal right now to sell this country further down the road.
It's what it's sounding like, and a lot of analysts think that that's exactly what's happening.